this is something great for me. I want to give this a go. How would you suggest someone starts getting, how do they go about getting the right bands? What's the best starting point for someone?
If they're dealing with someone like myself, I guess I'll have that consultation with them. I'll assess very quickly what level of resistance bands they need to start with, right? And if they're coming into, let's say, a group class with me, we use a specific type of band in that band. If they're doing one-to-one training with me, we use other bands then as well. So I can provide them with those bands. Then I'll give them an induction session where I will teach them how to use those bands. I'll correct their posture, their technique. All that stuff is probably the most important stuff at the start. And sometimes, believe it or not, it's actually easier with someone that has never been in a gym because they haven't got all the bad habits, right? So if someone is in the gym for years and doing everything wrong, we have to undo all of that damage. Someone that's just fresh, they can get started correctly from the get-go, so they can actually progress nicely that way. But it's all about getting that posture, that technique right, figuring out what's right for them, what's not. If the person is in their 60s or 70s or 50s, it doesn't, it depends on their age and what their own abilities are. And I teach them accordingly. And what I try to do then, of course, is educate them over time that when you're not with me, so if you're training with me twice a week, 3 times a week, I want you to do stuff on your own, even if it's 10 minutes. Start with 10 minutes. Build to 15 and try to get yourself to 30 minutes over time. But only do the exercises you're very comfortable with doing, that you can do correctly, so that you don't develop any bad habits. I would say all of my clients are doing that now on their own as well.
Yeah. And if someone comes to you, say they've got sort of lower, like you said, lower back or hip pain, or, maybe they've come back from the doctor, maybe they've got a bit of arthritis or whatever. How would you sort of integrate the bands when someone actually has a physical problem that they're dealing with?
Well, there's the beauty of a chair. A chair is a wonderful.
We love a chair.
Yeah, I mean, I've had clients with real dodgy knees, and with that had very little confidence and a little bit of fear there as well, of course, So I get my chair and I sit in my chair and I demonstrate the exercise and I say, okay, give it a go. And it's amazing, like at the end of the session, like the client was saying, Jesus, I had a great workout there. I didn't even stand up, right? So you just adapt to their situation, and then over time they get a little bit get them off the chair a little bit. And because I'm trying to explain to them that if you can just build that muscle around the knees, it's something that a lot of my clients, the older clients in their 60s and stuff, have those issues around their knees. So we really focus on building the strength around those knees. And over time, it takes time. They get down a little bit further with the squat, they get down further with the lunge, and their confidence grows as well. So it's a gradual thing, but it's a wonderful thing to see as well at the same time.
Yeah. And is it great, obviously, if someone's playing tennis or golf, is it a great sort of piece of equipment for sort of tying into sort of the sort of specifics of sports-specific training as well?
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned it. I mean, my own son Dylan, he's 17 now. He's a great tennis player. He wants to pursue a career in tennis. So I spend quite a bit of time with him since a very young age, working with him in my gym here, working with those bands. And when he's with his coach, they're all about resistance bands. So resistance bands can be used in every sport. I mean, I've worked with people here in Ireland. We have GAA, Gaelic football. We've got rugby, obviously, and tennis and golf. And I've worked with quite a few golfers as well over time. It's amazing, actually, with the golfers whose range of movement isn't great up overhead. They can't really get up here properly. So, specific exercises to help with that as well. So, look, whether it's someone who has never stepped a foot in the gym, someone that's already quite fit but wants to level up to the next level, or someone that's elite and wants to really enhance their physical ability, it's there for all of them.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
Because I often think it's also a kind of safer form of strength training. Because obviously, I've worked in gyms a lot. I've done a lot of weight training myself. And, you've really got to be very careful when you're using those free weights in particular, or even the machines, but free weights in particular. But I sense there's also a bit of safety with using the bands. There's a bit more, they challenge your stability, they challenge your strength, they challenge your mobility, your, the multiplanar direction that everything goes in. If you're unsure, then it's a really great way of having that risk. Would you say that's true?
Yeah. I use the word low impact all the time. People ask me, so who are these bands suitable for? And it doesn't, because I've, parents with children, 12, 13, and I encourage them to get their children involved. I've had mothers with their sons or daughters with me on a session because they're so safe. use a band that's relative to their physical strength and progress from there. And if you're someone in your 70s, the same, because you've got so little impact on your joints, which is it's very important as we age, as you know yourself, Julia. But because of how I use them, and because the movements are all very slow and controlled, so when you do a squat with me, it's not your regular pace squat. You can be kept down in a position for a number of seconds. You have to come up quite slow, so you're getting really, really deep into the muscle fiber. So it's a very different experience. You're going to experience what I like to call the burn. It's not pain, it's very different. And I always remind my clients, if you feel pain, you stop. No ego, you just stop straight away. If you feel burn, push through it. Push through it, because that's the magic stuff.
Yeah, because you want to feel like your muscles are being affected. There's a big difference between feeling it working, having that little bit of, oh, this is tough, and like you say, that burn, that buildup of lactic acid, as opposed to actual joint pain or you can't go on kind of pain.
No, yeah, you got to listen to your body at that point, but that burn is the magic word. It really is. And your body, your legs will actually start to shake a little bit even.
To kind of push back that time when it starts to get a bit challenging and you think you just want to give up, you just got to have that extra rep inside of you, because that's where 100%. The progression is. If you give up before you feel that, you're never going to progress. You're going to maintain the status quo.
Well, I guess that's where people like myself come in, because, I've got clients with me since 2017, and they're with me now for very different reasons, of course. And of course, they understand how to work out themselves. They know everything about those bands, but they still work out with me because they say, we'll never get out of a session what I get out of it with you, because I will push them that extra bit further again.